One morning, when I went to my brother-in-law's room to bid him farewell, he suddenly grabbed my hand and laid me down on his bed. He rolled over, and his hands were moving all around me, occasionally touching my lips and starting to kiss me. I pushed him away and said, "Don't you have any shame? I'm your sister." Hearing this, he opened his eyes and regained his senses, saying, "Sorry, sister-in-law, I was asleep." And I thought I was dreaming. Actually, my brother-in-law was only 17 years old, so I thought it's not a big deal for him to have such dreams at this age. Shortly after our marriage, my husband had gone abroad, and my mother-in-law and father-in-law had passed away, so my brother-in-law and I were living alone at home. Then one day, without knocking, I started changing my clothes in my room. As soon as I took off all my clothes, suddenly my brother-in-law opened the door and saw me without any clothes in front of him. His eyes were sometimes on my chest and sometimes downward. I covered my chest with my hands and angrily scolded him to leave my room. Seeing me in that state, his eyes remained wide open, and after looking carefully from my chest down, he mistakenly did all this. Apologizing, he left my room. Then one night, while I was lying in my room, he suddenly came quickly and lay down beside me on the bed. He directly started moving his hand down my back and legs, saying, "Since that morning when I accidentally kissed your lips, I have been lost in your thoughts. Whenever I see your beautiful mischievousness moving from front to back, it sets my whole body on fire, and today I can't stay away from you." At that moment, I pushed his hand away from behind and angrily told him to leave my room, but by then he had become completely oblivious to his behavior. He forcibly called me and tied me to the bed. He came over, placed his lips directly on my neck, and started moving his hands all over me front and back. I was very frightened and tried to push him away. He held me down forcefully and began kissing and touching me from my lips to my chest like an addict. His hands were touching every part of my body from top to bottom, and then he forcibly started removing my clothes. When his grip on my body loosened slightly, I pushed him with all my might, got up, left the room, and closed the door from the outside. Then I called my husband and told him everything, so my husband called the police and sent them to the house.